Well, hello again. That's Joe, and we are in the studio upstairs. And what we will be doing is the assembly for the contest of mini print from Bernard Helens, www.miniprint.ca. They send us an ITLA scale models of a shed, as you can see in here, right? And the instruction on how to do it. It's a wood model, and this models will be on a small little module, and we'll be using mini prints 3D print for the scene of different animals. Example, this elks, some hunters, as you can see, a dog. We'll be using also a moose rack, and we'll be using the driver for the ATV here, so we got to paint that, and probably use some turkeys also in there. Now I put the parts in the ITLA models because it's got to be painted, and some of it has got to be dry brush. On the models we got the windows that are in there that got to be painted. I would paint them directly on the frames that they have provide, but all the other little roof parts that got to be added, those I would be painting separately. Now, what do we using for doing the paint? I will be using tester paint for the building. I will reduce the paint in some ways that we can put it on, and usually oil paint on a wood kit in here does not really influence as far as bending or getting out of shape. And then we assemble it and weather it and put it on the scene with trees and the people. The figures from mini prints would be painted with acrylic. I will not paint them with the oil paint. I will paint them with the acrylic paint. So first thing I like to do is the floor. So give it the tint of the floor, and then each part of the building will be painted inside and outside, so that way definitely it will not bend on you in any shape or form, you know. So that's what we will be doing. So I had started to paint the pieces. All the surrounding in here is the trim for the shed and the trim for the window in there, and the trim is green, so it's a little bit like dry brushing what I'm doing in there. So I kept some in here so you can see what I'm doing. I just go over it, not excessively. I'm not trying to achieve a perfection here and applying the paint, because of the weathering that will take place right after. And now we'll do window frame. Of that little shed. And there we go. The piece has been made. So put that aside. In here we're having some of the other, that's for the door really, what I'm doing right now. I have not separated them. And there's the piece. Has been made. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. I also did that for the window here in the corner, as you can see. And now there's two of them left. And this one here, the only thing it has is the hinges. And then we have the contour, which work exactly the same way as the other one. Like I said, it's like dry brushing, so you don't want to have a big blob of paint in here. And that's the other piece where we got our hinges and door handles and the surrounding of the front wall. For the roof, which come like this, okay, what I choose to do is just to apply first in dry brushing a little bit of gray. Then later on we'll put a little bit of brown or something, you know, so and that's what it looked like after it being done. So that's the roof. Now, like I said, the inside of the building has got to be painted. So to paint the inside of the building, doing the same method. I'm doing the inside of the building in a gray color. You don't want a huge coat in there. There's the inside of the front part of the shed. Now we'll assemble the little shed, starting with the trim on the outside. I'm separating right now from gently want to separate them. Don't forget your outer window. And that piece is for this piece here. So on a little piece of cardboard, I'm putting some Elmer carpenter glue because it's wood, and using a toothpick, I very gently put some of that glue in place. Now you don't need a ton of it. But what you want to make sure that you do is that your glue is spread appropriately all around it. And now you apply it to your model. You repeat the same process with the outside window. There you go. You got one wall here that's been painted, that's been weathered, and has this trim around. And we'll use a little bit of chalks to do the outside there. Now you can take the next one. This one you don't want to throw this part off because you got the hinges on it to be put in. Now we'll see if it fits here. Yes. And now you do the same thing. You're putting your glue in. Now this is an ITLA scale model. Now you have the front that is there, and if I turn it around you can see the inside of the door because one of those doors would be ajar anyway. So now it goes there. You repeat the same thing for all of those walls. You do not want to rush that process because those pieces can be very, very easy to break. So you take that piece here, and you do the same thing, and there we go. Don't know if you can see it on the camera, but that is one of the other pieces. Now you can discard the other one, or you can make another shed out of it if you want. It's just a matter of choice. Now some people would use white glue. I prefer to use the carpenter glue when I work with wood like this. And the reason for that is when that is dry, you know it will stay there. Alright. Now we'll do the window. here's the next one. Now the idea is to add them on to the floor. Prior I do that, I would be putting the glass in the window. Well, now the shed is assembled, as you can see. And on the top here, got the beam for the roof. I took out the doors because the doors would be put separately so that I got an opening in there. So for the roof, I would put some of the glue on this beam here and along each side. Now I'm being a little bit generous here in the glue, but I'm just an ordinary guy. So, and now is to place the roof. Now my roof is equal on both sides. Now with my toothpick, I took out the excessive glue and I hold it for a little while just so to make sure that everything is proper and that roof is in place. So now I repeat exactly the same thing for the other side of the roof. Some fresh glue on the beam. Now you got to make sure that you got it going the right way here. If you notice, I got a little bit of glue that came out in here. That is okay because for me it's a filler. Hold it a little bit just to make sure that it's totally glued solid. And now we got our little shed here, totally done. But you're saying not really, because what we have to add now is the peak. I will put the glue on the back of the roof and then take my little piece here and insert it to the roof itself. On some models, it's easier to do it that way. There we go. go. So now we got the little shed exactly like the way we want it now. I have prepared the form to where the scenery would be done. So it's a piece of extruded foam, two of them put together, and on top of it I put some plaster cloth. Now that plaster cloth is not the plaster cloth from Woodland Scenic. It's a plaster cloth that I get from sport injury store called Gypsona, and I get it by the case. I find that is more plaster on that than the one from Woodland Scenic. The Gypsona that I use is the same material that you use for body gas when you break your arms or your legs. Now the little house would be in here. Right across in here is a little bridge, and on that I will have the four-wheeler coming in at the gates. Two hunters would be placed in there, and then is the dog, and within the trees that would be behind and so on is two stags or bucks or whatever you call them that would be in there. In the shed, now I don't know if I would put it aside or if I would put it on the side of the shed in here, but I would be using a as you can see, a moose rack. You see it on my hands. So to be put there. Now there's a few tree trunks that would be there. Just for the sake of it, let's assume that's the bridge right now. Now all those figures are from Miniprint at Miniprint, www.miniprints.ca. I have painted them and weathered them, and now it's a question of building the scene. The bridge would be built with those little piece of woods, and then all along in the front here I will have the fence posts that would be put in, so that to the gates. And on those signposts, some of them will have do not trespass, private property, no hunting, warning on that. So that's why the owner is coming in to tell the hunters that maybe they should go and try to hunt somewhere else. So that's what is happening. Now the shed itself, one door will be ajar, and that's probably what turned up the curiosity of the guy on the quad here. So our next step would be to build the bridge that goes there, and put in place the post for the fence and do the fence. I like to have all my holes ready, to put it in. That would be the scene at that point for the contest for the mini print. So let's keep working on it, get back to you and see where I'm at.